Today I'll be talking about funds of knowledge in the classroom setting. Just for a brief definition, funds of knowledge is the idea that everybody has an appropriate amount of knowledge in different subjects. Now, it's impossible for everybody to be perfectly well rounded in their amount of knowledge in every subject. And we need to realize this as a teacher, that just because the student doesn't do well in core subjects in the classroom doesn't mean they're not smart in other ways. Today, we're mostly going to focus on ELL or ESL in the classroom. Um, the first step into dealing with funds of knowledge is realizing that everybody has different funds of knowledge and that students bring different skills and knowledge from their home and community. Now, this will be really important with ELL and ESL, and sometimes if the community is not something, not your home community, so to speak. Each little area is different, and they bring different things. For example, an inner city school, you might not have as much agricultural knowledge, but you might have other funds of knowledge as well. It just depends on the situation. One thing that we need to realize, though, in the classroom is that diversity is going to be inevitable. As time passes, we become more diverse in classroom, and it's going to be farther reaching the more time passes. We can help these students in a lot of different ways, though. We, for example, can actually get to know the students, get to know their family and where they're from. Now, in some cases, this might be as simple as sitting down with the family or sitting down with the student and literally just discussing, like, what do you like to do for fun? What do you, where do you shine the brightest? And if you have a younger student, this might be hard to get that answer from them, but that's when you would go to the parents or grandparents or whoever guardian they have. And then with that way, we can maybe tie in some of the stuff that they do have interest in into the main curriculum, so that way they do feel like they're able to connect to the core classroom. Um, Another thing that will be helpful is to make some of the assessments more open-ended with their writing. It doesn't necessarily need to be an essay question for everything, but just to have the option for them to be able to explain their answer and why it made sense to them, because their answer might be founded in high logic, but it doesn't make sense how they see it in the classroom because of the cultural difference. Like I said previously, the difference between a very urban community and a rural community might see the same problem in two different lights. Another thing is that we can have the students introduce themselves at the beginning of the school year. And as teachers, we can take a time or a moment or however long you feel like you need to really get to understand your students. And this can be done in a handful of ways. Like I said, meeting with parents and family and guardians. There's also the chance of doing in the classroom projects such as IM projects. This is more common for first and second graders, or lower elementary, I should say, but it can be expanded to middle school, high school, depending on what you need. Sometimes, like, a written report will be a little easier, and sometimes a verbal report will be better. It depends on where the students are comfortable at. If you include a foreign language, just sometimes have the time to collect your thoughts and write it down and present it that way will be more beneficial to the student than getting in front of the class and speaking. You just kind of have to gauge your students and what their needs are. Hopefully these tips and tricks really help you in your classroom in the future.